Good morning and welcome to Playtime by Fawns. My name is Graham Scott. I'm the Sales Director at Playtime by Fawns, and I'm lucky to be joined again this morning by Martha. Good morning, Martha. How are you?
Hello, I'm okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us again. I know last time we spoke about early years and the effect of kind of the lockdown on children, and discussed kind of their big feelings and the emotions that they're going through for that age group. I just wanted to kind of discuss that a little bit again today and kind of move on with that age group about the importance of physical activity during this time and kind of get a little bit of an understanding about the importance of physical activity for obviously young children. Is there firstly kind of recommendations about how often they should be playing or outside with doing physical activity on a daily basis?
So yeah, there are some guidelines for 3 to 5 year olds. It's guidelines for the whole kind of age, all children. But 3 to 5 year olds, it's 180 minutes a day, which is 3 hours a day, which might sound like a lot, but for this age group, any form of physical movement is thought of as exercise. So when I'm talking about physical movement, I mean rolling on the floor, doing roly-polies, doing cartwheels, that counts. Crawling, because 3 to 5 year olds should be doing things like crawling or going under things. It's really good to build their core muscles and to build their arm strength. So that also counts. Walking counts, jumping, skipping, any kind of movement. And obviously it's not 3 hours in one slot, it's across the day. And what the guidelines talk about is the importance of these movements are a way for children to learn, and they're learning about their bodies, they're learning about the environment. So if they're outdoors, that's even better, because nature is basically a teacher for children, but it provides lots of flexibility. They can make more noise and run around more. But also in nature, they learn things. So think about all these experiences as things that your child can develop an understanding of their surroundings and their world, or their bodies. So when they're doing physical exercise, they're learning to balance and they're learning strength. So all those things are really important for this age range. And the guidelines say that resting should be kept for sleeping and eating. But obviously during lockdown, there might be occasions when you want your child to just be on a screen, and that is okay. Yeah. So it's totally normal, especially within the current situation. If a screen's going to keep your child entertained for half an hour and you need to do something for half an hour, it's totally okay. So I want to give parents permission for that, because there are no guidelines for children in terms of what's bad for them, in terms of how much screen time is bad. But what is important as a parent is that you have a balance, especially for 3 to 5 year olds, where screens aren't fully recommended for them, because they don't get a lot of learning through screens at this age. But if you're going to use screens as a way of entertaining your child, just use it in balance with other things. And if they've been on a screen for a bit of time, make sure that the next activity they do is very physical and then moving.
I think that's important,
because that's the benefit.
The lockdown situation, in an ideal world, we'd have the children outside, but obviously, yeah, it's difficult in the current climate. And I think, yes, it's just trying to do the best we can in the situations, isn't it, really? So there's no pressure for parents to try and get them active and outside for that 3 hours really each day. But just being aware of it almost, and doing the best we can in the situation, and kind of doing what's best for the children, really.
Yeah, and you can be physical indoors. You can like I said, it can be like crawling, rolling, it can be all sorts of things, doing a handstand. All those kind of things are still physical exercise, and they're still good for your child. Like, there's still movement. You can dance, put some music on, some fun music, and all stop dancing together and take a break. You can play like, what was it called when I was little? When you play like the statues game. So, you play music and your musical statues and you'll bounce about and then you stop it. So you can play that. Like this, or like the chairs, where you remove the chairs so they have to run around, and kids love those games. That's why they have them at parties. So think about how you can incorporate that into your house. It doesn't have to be outdoors. If you have access to outdoors, great. But if you don't, it doesn't have to. Things like playing catch with a soft ball in your house, that counts. So you can play catch, like all those things are still physical exercise, and they're still helping your child to learn about their bodies and to move about. And especially this age range with big feelings, movement is one of the things that really helps children. It gives them like the endorphins, the like happy chemicals in our brains. So if they're feeling anxious or they're feeling a bit irritable, if you help them move and use that energy for something positive, they will feel calmer, and they will be,
Yes.
you know, more easy to kind of then adapt to playing or doing something more gentle.
That makes sense. That anxiety, certainly going through this period, and that worry that children be going through, it's almost a release for them to be doing the physical activity, and yeah, just consciously and subconsciously, yeah, kind of getting through the kind of emotions of it, really.
Yeah.
And a little bit of kind of insight, if you can, into kind of the importance of play during this period. Can you give a little bit more insight into types of
Sure.
play that the children can kind of involve themselves with, and how parents can kind of interact with their children during this period as well? What's best for parents during this time?
Yeah, so play is really important for children of this age. I would say most of what they do during the day should be some form of play. They learn through play. So I think over lockdown, one of the things I've been thinking about with families a lot is how exhausting it can be, because you're with your child all the time, every day, and that isn't natural for us, and it's not natural for your child. And for most children, it's great, because children love attention and they want to be with their parents. So for most children, this is like, you know, a massive treat. But for most parents, it's really draining, and that's understandable. So there is a way that you can play with your child and give your child a lot of attention and validation, and actually build up some skills for them that isn't actively playing with them. It's becoming an observer in play. So what you do is you sit with your child and they play, because children of this age are really creative and imaginative. And one of the ways that you can foster their skill in play is by just letting them do it. But like I said, most children will want to be with their parents. So you may have to sit near with them or nearby them.
Yeah, participate, but kind of, yeah, silently almost, really.
Yeah, you don't have to stay silent. You can. You don't have to. What you can do is say out loud what you see. So I kind of sometimes say, imagine there's somebody else in the room, but they can't see what your child is doing, and you're describing it to them. So you might say some things like, oh, look, the train is going into the station. I wonder what the train is going to do next. Oh, look, there comes the red car, or whatever. And as your child is playing and doing things, you narrate it. And when you do that, it seems really odd if you've never done it before, but it actually works with like babies and toddlers, because you're building up vocabulary. And same here, you're still building up language. What you're doing is showing your child that you're paying them a lot of attention, because you are attentive to what they're doing. You're also validating their play, which builds confidence in children, because they suddenly think, what I'm doing must be good, because my mummy or daddy is kind of narrating what I'm saying. But you're not telling them what to do next. So you enable them to be creative and for their imaginary world to just be, so they can play whichever way they like. And if they join you in, which often children of this age will, they'll give you a car, they'll give you the dolly or something. Be curious about it. So rather than directing the play, you know, like, and now the train is going to France or something, rather than doing that, ask them, okay, so now I've got the train. So where's the train going? What do I do? Ask them. So imagine you're in a film set and your child is directing, and you're just passively just following what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that can happen as well is that in play, your child should be in control. So play should be the one place in their life where they take complete control. They can do whatever they like in play, as long as it's not dangerous or hurting themselves or you. And that also helps children when you then want them to do something for you. Because if you've done what your child wants you to do in play, they start to learn that actually I can do the same back to my mummy. It's like a reciprocal behavior that then happens. So think about just sitting back, because it can feel much easier to play, especially if you're a parent who doesn't like playing very much, and that's very common. So don't feel bad about it if you think playing is not enjoyable, playing is hard, I've always got to think of what I've got, you know, what play idea to have. You don't. just sit back, become an observer, and give your child that space to just do most of the playing, but you are giving them lots of attention. So that's one idea. And yeah, I've got other ideas, but I don't know if you want me to share them.
Can we talk about those later on? We'll talk about those another time.
Yeah, of course.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Marta. I really appreciate that. And I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Lovely. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.